Hi, this is Trevor, and welcome back to our weekly Tarot Card Challenge. Today is Saturday, October 11th, 2014, and it's Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. We celebrate Thanksgiving about a month earlier than our friends in the United States. You can find our previous videos here on this YouTube channel or on my website at trevorsense.com. That's also where you'll find information about my work, about how to book an appointment with me, either here in person in Winnipeg or online over Skype, as well as some other features and links to things like the Facebook page and other facets of how I work and operate. But enough about all that. Let's get into our card of the week. I did do a shuffle already, and because of a technical issue, I will tell you that I pulled the Ace of Pentacles. And aces are one of my favorite things to see come up in a reading. To me, they're kind of in a class unto themselves. They are part of the minor arcana, and they have to do with the four suits, the four elements that are present in tarot. And those elements are also present in systems like astrology, and they kind of relate. And they have to do with earth, water, fire, and air. And there's many applications of how those elements can work. And as we get into kind of studying those interactions, we see that the elements kind of work within the elements. I know it sounds a little complicated, but there's fiery air, watery air, earthy air, and airy air. But when you look at it, it's really like, in our most primitive sense, doing, feeling, fighting, and owning. Basic plots to a story, basic elements of life, doing, feeling, fighting, and owning. And we do all four within all four. So you might be working around a job situation where there's very emotional things that are present, and conflicts, and a sense of challenge. Or you may be finding that issues of worth are coming up in your relationships. So it's very fascinating to see how these elements interact within one another and around one another. So an ace is kind of like a signal that a particular element is really making its presence known. Just like in the cartoons when a light bulb goes on over someone's head, or what Oprah calls an aha moment. There's some realization taking place. And that's why the little book that comes with the tarot cards that you get when you buy them will oftentimes say an ace is a sign of new beginnings, new opportunities, and it could involve things seeming to come your way. But realization is more often like we're putting on our glasses and seeing what we weren't seeing before. It's a little like, if you're attracted to girls, like when you discovered girls or when you discovered boys, and suddenly these things take on a whole new relevance. But they didn't just suddenly arrive that day. They've been there for a while. But you have that kind of eureka, that kind of aha that says, okay, I'm going to work with this. And not only that, it causes our instincts to wake up in a new way. We start making associations. We start attracting as well as recognizing those elements in our life. So pentacles have a lot to do with worth. On a surface level, they'll have a lot to do with issues around money, our possessions, our property. But on an inner level, it has to do with things like self-worth, how we feel valued, how we pay attention to what makes us thrive and grow. Sometimes I like to think of, plants. When you buy geraniums or begonias, they might cost the same at the garden center, but they have different values. You'll look at the little card that comes with the plant and it'll say this kind of water, this kind of soil, this kind of light. Those are the inherent values of a geranium or a begonia. But we aren't born with a little tag that says, I'm a Trevor, I need this kind of water, this kind of soil, and so on. It is by paying attention to what has worth and is worthwhile that we gain more insight about how we can grow. So yes, the Ace of Pentacles can have to do with profit, but it's not just material thinking. You look at some very, very successful people. They've looked at what is worthwhile. They've kind of known where to plant that energy and how to tend it so it brings about the right results. The Ace of Pentacles might not necessarily be about gain, but it is about kind of tuning into what the return should be. So we get a lot of fascinating insight around that when this comes up. Oftentimes in this day and age, people are looking at how they have to reposition their security. the rules around things like pensions and retirement have changed dramatically in the last few years. So I think a lot of people are thinking very carefully about where they have to plant those energies. And the Ace of Pentacles can be a sign of some really interesting discovery that goes on. Sometimes things that are new, but more often where we recognize the value of some things that have been around us all along. Kind of like seeing diamonds in the rough, polishing them and bringing out their worth. What a wonderful card to have for Thanksgiving weekend, a time when many of us gather together and recognize the things that are really important and that have worth, and where we have gratitude for both what has come, and we think a little bit about the seeds that we're going to be planting in the future. So with that, I wish everyone a blessed Thanksgiving. Take care, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.